So what is problem solving and programming? In this course, we are going to be focus on how to solve the problem. Problem is what type of problem? Any problem in our day-to-day life, right? Normally in a day-to-day life, we are solving many problems in our house, home, as well as in the office, outside world. So we are living along with a problem. Manually we are solving because we are having intelligence, we know we are having a knowledge, we are having a experience. Based on that we are solving the problem. Sometimes we need the help of the computer to solve the problem, because I can solve 10 problems, 20 problems. If 100 problems comes or 1,000 problems comes, I could not complete everything. Okay, I'll be tired, right? So I can get the help from the computer. So how to use the computer? So I know how to solve the problem. So I have to teach to the computer how to solve the problem, and the computer can help me to solve the problem, right? So here in this course, mainly we are focusing on how to find the solution of the problem. Any problem, physics problem, maths problem, real time problem, or industry problem, science problem, whatever it is, how to solve the problem, right? So in the entire course, our focus is 60% on the problem solving and only 40% on the programming. Okay, so programming you have to learn. That is, this is the thing, because you have joined in the computer science course. So ultimately, you will learn, because every semester you learn one programming language. So doing programming is not a matter at all, right? And here in the beginning we are using Python programming. That is very simple. Even in the test also, when we are evaluating your answers, 60% weightage I'll check about have you understand the logic. Okay, have you by using the procedure or technique what you have used, whether you arrive to the solution or not. That only will check 60%, and only 40% weightage I'll give for the writing a programming and executing the programming and getting the answer. So if you are having in your mind like I don't know any programming language, I don't know how to write the program, please erase it. That is not a main intention of this course. The intention of this course is how solve your problem. What is the problem we have given? Hard question, what do we have given? How you solve? That is the main intention. That's why first preference goes for problem solving, and side by side, you should know. Yeah, that is a by practice you will get the programming, right? That is not a matter. So now I'll go to the slide. What is called as a problem? How to solve the problem? I'll teach you. So our course is CSC 100, that is course code, and this is the title of the course, problem solving and programming. So as if we are a software engineer, what are the qualities required? What are the skills required? So for a software engineer, technical skills is needed, problem solving skill is needed, and soft skill is needed. Technical skill means like coding and testing the program. And what is called as a problem solving skill, that is very, very important. You should have a logical and analytical thinking. Okay. So every day we'll face a new problem. So there won't be any formula and there won't be any methods, predefined methods to solve the problem. So we have to think analytically or logically. We have to think how to solve the problem. That is the very quality of the software engineer. And soft skill like team working ability as well as the communication. So in the problem, there are many types of problems are there. Some problems is maybe a direct problem. Some problems may not be a direct problem, and some problem we can use some of the arithmetic solution. We can derive by using the arithmetic solution. Some problem logically we have to solve. Some problem analytically we have to solve. So first you have to understand that what type of problem we are going to be solve. Actually, as per the computer science concern, we can broadly classify the types of problem into four. That is decision problem, searching, sorting problem, counting problem, and optimization problem. What is meant by decision making problem? Say I am doing one work, so I cannot able to do the work continuously. So certain stage I should take the decision whether I have to go in this way or other way. Okay, so in every stage in our life we should take the decision. We cannot able to go just like that, right? Say for example, after completing your 12th standard, so you should take a big decision. Okay, so for you maybe like 4 5 opportunities will be there, so you should take a right decision which is up for you, right? So that is very important. Similarly, so in our day to day life, many problem we are having, we should take that as a decision problem, right? And next is searching and sorting problem. So what is called as searching and sorting problem? Searching sorting problem means like many things we have to search. Say for example, um, in the computer point of view, I'll tell. In my class, 60 students are there. For particular student, I want to know the mobile number or parent detail or whatever it is. So if it is manual, what I'll do, all 60 students record, I have to go and find out that. So I have to pick that which student I'm going to be search. So searching is a very important thing in our day-to-day life. So through the computer, if now everything is computerized, right? Through the computer, I can perform this. Same best example is Google search, right? That is also searching. There are a lot of information or spreaded in the internet throughout the world. So if I want to know particular information, immediately I'm getting the help from the Google. I'm asking Google. So what is this, and tell me this. So Google is going and searching the content what is spreaded in the internet, and it bringing and it is giving to us. That is called as a searching. Next one is sorting. What is meant by sorting? So keeping the things in the arranged order, right? So you may ask that why the importance of the sorting. Sorting is very important. If I want to do the searching, if it is in the sorted order, then only I can able to do the search. Say for example, I want to find a particular citizen Aadhaar number. So we know that 130 crores population is there in our country. So how can I able to pick one citizen uh, Aadhaar number? So if it is in the sorted order, easily I can able to pick up. Next is counting problem. What is meant by counting problem? Certain things you repeatedly will do it. Okay. Say for example, I have given a bunch of apple to you, like a basket of apples to you, and I'll ask you, please check it how many apples are there. So you have to do the counting. So counting also one of the part of our life. So what we have to do that we have by our memory, so we can able to count it. I know that how many apples I have counted. I'll recollect from my memory and I'll continue. So this problem, how can I able to solve by using the computer? Next one is optimization problem. Optimization problem is like there are many problems are there, and each problem many alternatives are there. So how can I pick the best one? Okay, we can use some of the methods to pick the best one. So these are all the normally all the problems what we are going to be solved through computer. We can classify into this four category. Guys, can you able to follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So broadly, we are classifying all the problems into this four category, right? If we are going to be solve the problem, these are all the steps I should follow, right? First one is if problem is given, I have to define the problem and I have to understand the problem first of all. After understanding the problem, I should identify what are the inputs and outputs I have to give it to the problem. That is the second stage. And third one is I have to identify the alternative solution to the problem, right? And fourth stage, I have to draw the flowchart, or I have to write the pseudocode. And fifth stage, so we have to convert the pseudocode into executable code. and next we have to debug, and last one is testing. So we have to repeat this, right? So if any problem is given, right, so this problem has to be solved in this following order. So these are all the things we are expecting in this course. If I'm giving a problem, first you have to understand the problem and you have to define the problem. What is that problem? Next one is you have to identify that for the given problem, what are the inputs and outputs. And third one is we have to identify the is any alternative solution to solve the problem. And the next you have to draw either the flowchart or pseudocode, and you have to write the code and you have to correct the error, and you have to test your input data whether it is working perfectly or not. If the input data is not working, your test case is not working, then you have to you have to make changes in the code, and you have to again find the error, test. So this is the thing you have to follow in this course. From beginning to ending, we are expecting the following steps to be to be written for any problem, right? So each stage, like every stage, I'll explain how we are going to be solve the problem. So if you are going to be solve the problem, so we have to by the computer. Okay, if we are going to be solve the problem by the computer, we have to solve the problem in two phases. That is called as a phase one and phase two. What is meant by phase one? Phase one is nothing but the pre-programming phase. That means before writing the program, what are the things you have to do? And phase two is nothing but the programming phase. I'll show in this one. See, actually, this is the programming phase. Okay, all the steps what I have given before the programming. So these are all called as a pre-programming phase. What are the things in the pre-programming phase? Understanding the problem, defining the problem, identifying the input output of the problem, identifying the alternative ways to solve the problem, flowcharts, pseudocode. These are all the pre-programming phase. In the programming phase, what I have to do? I have to write the code, I have to find the error, I have to test it. These are all the things I'm calling as a phase two. So if you want to solve any problem, you have to divide into two stages, phase one and phase two. If you completed phase one, again I'm telling that phase one, here we are focusing more. Okay, that is pre-programming phase, right? Defining the problem, identifying the input output, and writing the pseudocode. You will get 60 percentage of the mark, and for executing the code, correcting the error and testing, only 40% weightage will give. So first one, what is meant by pre-programming phase, how this steps has to be complete. Okay, if any problem is given, first you have to analyze the problem. What is meant by analyzing the problem? Analyzing the problem means understanding the problem. Okay, so how this problem is going to be solved by the computer? First, you should understand. Afterwards, to solve the problem, what are the things we needed? Basic things we needed is input output. Along with the input output is any formula is needed, or any logic is needed, or any techniques is needed, that you have to identify. So that is called as analyzing the problem. So for analyzing the problem, how can I complete this analyzing part? So there is one template is there. Can you able to follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Whether
ma'am.
I'm going fast or can you able to follow?
No, ma'am.
Can
Okay.
follow.
Okay. In the pre-programming phase, what are the things we have to? So for analyzing the problem, we are making one template that is called as a PAC chart. What is called as a PAC chart? Problem analysis chart. To analyze the problem, we are going to be create one chart. What are the things that will be in this chart? 4 columns: data, processing, output, alternative solution. What is meant by data? Data is nothing but the input data. Processing is nothing but how to solve the problem. And output is nothing but from the input, what are the output we are going to be get. Okay. And alternative solution, if the problem is having alternative solution, then we have to write all the alternative solution here, right? These are the 4 steps we have to write in the PAC chart. Okay. What is meant by data? Data is nothing but for the problem, what are the inputs I'm going to be give? That I used to call as a data. And output is in the input data, what are the processing I have applied, and by using this processing, I'm getting answer, no, that I'm calling as a output. And the middle, I have to apply some of the processing steps. Okay, so that is the steps required to solve the problem. If we that is this is the best way to understand the problem. That's why it's called as the problem analysis chart. If you identify from the problem what are the input we are going to give to the program or problem, and what how we are going to be solved, and what is the output, then it is very easy to go for the next level. Let me go with an example. Here I have taken one simple problem that is called as a payroll problem. Payroll problem is what? Payroll is nothing but calculating the salary of an employee. Here the problem, what they have given is, okay, when an employee is worked for an hourly basis, how I'll calculate the salary? Okay, so for calculating the salary, what we are doing, so normally how the salary will be calculated, how many hours an employee worked, as well as we need a pay rate. That means, say for example, 8 hours employee worked, and for each hour 500 rupees. Okay, so how I'll calculate the salary of an employee? 500 into 8 hours. So that is the salary of a day. I think one day they are asking, hourly basis means in a day, how much salary an employee will get it, right? So I understand the problem. Have you understand this problem?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is my problem. Manually, I know how to solve the problem also, because how I'll get the salary, number of hours worked into pay rate, I'll get the salary. So how I'll represent this problem in terms of the PAC chart. So what are the inputs I needed for this problem? Tell me.
And pay rate.
Hours of work.
Pay rate.
Ah,
And pay rate.
yes. How many hours worked as well as pay rate. So I'm input data I'm taking as hours worked as well as pay rate. Okay, what is the output of this problem?
Salary.
Salary.
Salary. So output is salary, and processing is what? If I'm multiplying hours worked as well as into pay rate, I'll get the salary, right? Yes, I analyze the problem. This is the way I am going to be solve the problem. Clear? And here the last column is nothing but the alternative solution. Is any other alternative solution is there to solve the problem? We can write it. It is not a compulsory part, it's optional. If it is there, you can write, otherwise you can omit the last column, right? Here, what is the alternative? There is no alternative formula to calculate this. Another alternative, we can tell that, like, instead of taking the hours input, I can give it as a fixed. Say, for example, all employees should work for 8 hours, then I can directly give 8 into pay rate. And sometimes, some of the company, the pay rate will be fixed. Okay, so pay rate is 500. Hours may change. So 4 hours if an employee worked, 4 into 500, the salary will calculate. So these are all the alternative way we can substitute for this expression. So it's not that here the alternative solution is not that much important, because we don't have any new formula for this. Are you clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Similarly, we'll solve another problem. Please read the problem.
Miles to kilometers. Write a problem
Yeah.
analysis chart to convert a distance in miles to kilometers, where 1.609 kilometers per mile.
Okay, so the problem is we have to convert the distance in from miles to kilometers, and also the value they have given 1 mile equal to 1.609 kilometer. Is it correct or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, how to write the PAC chart for that? What are the input we need?
Miles and kilometers.
Kilometers also you want to take it as an input?
No,
No, we
miles
want
is input,
output
kilometers is
kilometers.
output.
Yes.
Kilometers.
Miles is input, output is a kilometer, because miles we are
Kilometers.
converting into kilometer. And what are the processing we have to do? What are the processing steps?
1.609 into the kilometers.
1 point?
609 into the miles.
Mm.
How many miles we have, so that we want to convert.
Okay. See that. So the input data is distance in miles or miles, whatever it is. And output is distance in kilometer. Processing is kilometer equal to 1.609 into miles. We'll get the answer. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Alternative solution means what? We can give the miles maybe in constant, or we can define the we can define the miles in terms of some of the input values as something is given. Okay. Here actually alternative solution is not that much important because we don't have any alternative solution to solve this problem, right? Next question is please, and please read it.
Determine whether a given number is prime or not.
Now, so here actually in your course also we'll give a problem alone. We won't ask any theory question or any other thing. We'll give only a problem, right? So for whatever problem we are giving in the VPropel, you have to write the PAC chart. That is now we are discussing problem analysis chart as well. Next step you have to write either algorithm or pseudocode. Next you have to do the programming and you have to execute it. So every stage of our classes will improve the will increase the complexity of the problem. We won't ask very, so in the beginning stage we'll give very simple problem like miles to kilometer, like that. The next coming classes will improve the will increase the complexity, like that. So finally we'll take you into very complex problem, very challenging problem. That is the main intention of this course, because you should have an ability to solve any problem, whatever problem is given to you, right? Next level is determine whether a given number is prime or not. How to find out whether the given number is prime or not? Normally mathematically, please tell me.
It's HCF.
Yeah.
Pardon? How to calculate whether the given number is a prime or not?
Its HCF is 1.
Okay.
We
Okay.
should divide. We should divide this number. We should take the input as n, ma'am, and then we should divide that n from 2 to n minus 1 by 2. If if the remainder is 0, then it is not prime. If it is not, it is prime.
Okay. General thing is like a prime number means the number is divided by 1 and itself alone, then the number is prime number. Is it correct or not?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Otherwise it's not a prime number. So for that what we have to do it, we have to start from 2. Number divided by 2. We'll check whether remainder or not. Number divided by 3.
Yes,
number divided 4. Up to number divided by n minus 1. So if none of the number is divides the number, then we'll call it as a prime number or not. How to write the PAC for this? First, what is the input we want? We want a number. Processing is, we have to check is any factor for the number n. That means a factor we are finding from 2 to n minus 1. Except 1 and the number itself is any other factor for n. Output is prime or not. Okay. Actually, for this problem, we are having some good alternatives also. And how I'm going to be find the factor, that in detail next coming classes will discuss. Okay. Actually, the computer does not know how to find the factor for the n. We have to give the logic how the computer is going to be calculated. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So alternative, say for example, I want to check whether 111 is a prime number or not. Is it a prime number 111?
No, ma'am.
No. Yes or no? Not sure. If I want to check whether 111 is a prime number or not, So from what number to what number I have to divide? I have to divide from 2 to 110. Is it correct or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So it will take time or not?
Yes, ma'am.
How many number I have to take to divide that? Okay. So 110 time I have to repeat the process. It is very lengthy process, right? It takes time. So is any other alternative solution is there to find the prime number? Yes, in mathematics, there are some of the alternative solution is there. So one is what here it is given. Divide n by numbers from 2 to n. Not n minus n, sorry, n. Okay, divide n by n from 2 to n, and we have to check that if the remainder is non-zero. If the remainder is non-zero, then we will tell that non-zero, then it is a prime number, otherwise not prime number. This is the one logic. So we have to divide the number from 2 to n. Is it
Excuse me,
correct?
ma'am. It
Yes.
should be n minus 1, ma'am. If it is n, the remainder will be 0. If the number is 111, if I divide the number by 111, then the remainder is 0.
Okay, I will take to 2 to n minus 1, right? Next one is or otherwise instead of going from 2 to n minus 1, we can divide by n by 2, 2 to n by 2. Is it correct or not? Have you studied in mathematics? If you want to check whether the number is a prime number, we no need to go from 2 to n minus 1. Instead of that, if you divide from 2 to n by 2, then you can find out whether it is a prime number or not. Another logic is for finding the prime number, you can divide from 2 to square root of n. In these cases, you can check it, you cross check with your mathematics book. Okay. Really, this problem is having an alternative solution because instead of dividing from 2 to n minus 1, if I divide by 2 to n by 2, my number of division will be reduced. Or instead of going that, if I divide by the number by n to square root of n, so that is exponentially my number of division will be reduced. So these are all the good alternative solution for finding whether the number is prime or not. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So this is the PAC of the prime number. Any doubt? Guys, are you clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll go to the another problem. How to sort the three numbers? See, I'm having three numbers, 2, 7, 5. How to sort out? Tell me how to sort out.
Like
Three
in
numbers.
ascending, descending like that amount.
Yes, yes. Sorting means ascending. 2, 7, 5 means I want the answer 2, 5, 7. Okay, how will get it?
Select the first number, check if it is larger than the second number, and then if it is larger, swap places. Select the second number, check with the next number. If it is larger, swap again. Like that is correct.
Actually, here for this problem also we can find out many alternatives, right? So one alternative is what first number I'll take and I'll compare with the second number. If the first number is greater than the second number, then the first number I'll compare with the last number, third number. And here also, if first number is greater than the third number, I'll tell the first number is greater. Okay. Once again. Actually, next one is what? This is one of the logic. See, what is the first logic? If A is greater than B, say three numbers means I am taking A, B, C. A is greater than B, as well as A is
Greater than
greater than C. A is big, right? So it is true. If it is true, and if it is true also, then A is big. Suppose if it is false, what is the meaning? If
It
it
will
is
go
false,
to the next.
B is greater than A. The meaning is B is greater than A, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
In such cases, suppose if it is false, B is greater than A. If B is greater than A, next what I have to do?
We want to
If
check it is
it's
greater than C.
So I have to check that if B is greater than A is true, then I have to check that whether B is greater than C. Then in such cases, B is big. Okay. If it is true, I am checking A is greater than C or not. If it is false, I am checking whether B is greater than C. Say for example, it is false, then B is greater than A. If it is false, B greater than C is false, what is the meaning? Tell me.
And C is greater than B.
C is largest.
C is largest. C, yeah. This is false. That means B value is greater than A. Then I am checking B is greater than C or not. In that case, B also greater than C. It is false. That means B is greater than A. Here, C is greater than B if it is false. That is the meaning, no? Clear now? Clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Say for example, I am taking the number 2, 5, 7. I am checking whether A is greater than B. Fails. Because 2 is not greater than 5. Then I am coming here. Fails means I am coming here because 5 is greater than 2. Then I am checking this B and C. Whether B is greater than C, B is 5 and C is 7. Actually, I am taking this is B, this is C, and I am taking this is A. B is greater than C. What is the B value? 5 and C value is 7. It is not true. That means the C is big. So here I am telling C is big. Understand the logic?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's a homework for you. I have given the answer also. You form it as a procedure, that's all. You don't need to write any program or one, just a normal procedure. You check A is greater than B. If it is true, you can write it in the steps, processing steps. So input is you have to give 3 numbers, output is in the sorted order. Clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
And read this problem.
In a fun game, MXM grid is given with full of coins. The player has to give number n of his choice. If n is lesser than m, then he is out of the game and he doesn't get any points. Otherwise, he has to place all coins in the MXM grid in the NXN grid and he gains points equal to the number of free cells in the NXN grid.
Okay, so how to solve this problem? How to solve the problem? Please, and anyone please give answer.
Yes, ma'am. Thinking.
Please try to understand. இட்லி ஊத்தணும் கிளம்பிட்டியா? இட்லி ஊத்தணும், குருமா வைக்கணும், 9:30 மணிக்கு. குருமா வேணாமா? வேற இட்லியும் 9:30 ஊத்தவா இப்பே ஊத்தவா? அது 9 மணிக்கு உனக்கு பசிக்குதா? சரி ஒரு 10 நிமிஷம் இரு, நான் பசங்களுக்கு ஒர்க் கொடுத்துட்டு வரேன். கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கேன். Okay, have you understand?
Ma'am, first we should check. First we should get an input number n from the user, ma'am.
Mm.
And then if n, we should check if n is lesser than m.
Mm.
If it is lesser, then he's out of the game. We should say he's out or something like. We should print he's out or something like that.
Mm.
If not, we should replace all the coins in MXM grid to NXN grid.
Mm.
And after replacing the the number of free spaces in NXN grid are his points he gained.
Mm.
That's what I understood.
Okay, so the problem is given is there is a actually for solving this type of problem you can use a paper and pen. In the paper just draw, put a m cross m grid. Okay, and from the it's a fixed m cross m grid full of coins are filled. Next one is if the player has to give n, that is a choice of n. If n is less than m, then he's out of the game. Okay, n is less, that means n value we have to give it as a greater. Say for example, I'm giving m value as m equal to 5 and n is n equal to 7. Okay, m equal to 5, n equal to 7. In such cases, we are eligible to run the game, isn't it? N value should be greater than m. So here what we are going to do is we have to place all m, already m cross m is filled with coins, and now n cross n grid what we are placing on m cross m grid, the number of free cells that becomes the answer. See, say for example, I'm putting one, this is m cross m grid, so it's already filled with, so the size of this is 5 cross 5. Is it correct or not? This is a m cross m grid. So full of coins I have filled. So how many coins I will fill with this 5 cross 5 grid?
25.
Tell me. 25. So here 25 coins I filled. Now I given the n value as 7. That means what is a 7 cross 7 means here on that
49 can be filled.
Yeah. On the m cross m grid, on the m cross m grid, I have I have placed a 7 cross 7 grid. 7 cross 7 grid means how many cells I'll get? 49, right? 49. And how many coins I filled with m cross m?
25.
25. Then what is my game point?
24.
How?
49 minus 25, 24.
Understand? This is the answer for this problem. Clear? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now how to write the PA? This is the logic. If you're thinking, you'll get it. For how to understand this problem, please read the problem sentence by sentence and or more than one time. Then definitely you will understand the problem. Mainly, if you didn't solve the problem properly, means you didn't understand the problem. Sometimes you will misunderstand the question. That's why carefully you have to read the question, right? And what is the actually for this we can use the formula. What formula we can use? N squared minus m squared value. Is it correct or not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
That's
Correct,
what
ma'am.
we just did.
n squared minus m squared, we'll get the answer. Okay. And now the input we need is m and n value, and first we have to check the condition whether n value is lesser than m value, then we'll tell that points gain is 0 and we'll quit the problem. Otherwise we'll compute n squared minus of m squared value. Output is number of coins what we gained. And alternative solution also is there. Instead of n squared minus m squared, we can substitute n cross n into m cross m. Or we can substitute another problem, n plus m into n minus m. These are all the alternative formulas for n squared minus m squared. Okay? Correct
Yes,
or
ma'am.
not?
Correct.
Okay. We'll go to the next one. You write the PSC for this problem? I think it's very easy. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the answer? What are the input we need?
Radius alone.
Okay. Processing.
Processing,
Area.
pi is constant, and so we calculate area, which is pi into r, where pi is 3.14.
Output is?
Output is area.
See this. Very simple, right? Input is radius, processing area equal to pi value will replace as it is 3.14 radius into radius, output also area. Clear? Problem. Please do this problem once again. Please copy this two problem. I'll break for 5 minutes. Okay. This problem, one more problem I'll give. Copy this problem. Copied this.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Everyone copied?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Copy this. Copied this problem?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm. Take this problem.
Done, ma'am.
Done now. Guys, I want 10 minutes break. Shall I, whether you will be in the line or shall I break the class again? I'll continue.
We will be in the line, ma'am.
You will be in the line, no? Okay. You do this 4 problems. I'll come within 10 minutes. Okay. Copied, no?
Ah, yes, ma'am. Copied, ma'am.
You do it. I'll come.
Okay, ma'am.
Hello, guys, have you completed? Hello,
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll take the first problem. Here, what is given? So we have to calculate the Celsius and Fahrenheit. So input we want is depth. Okay. So temperature inside the earth we want as the temperature inside the earth we have to calculate in terms of Celsius and Fahrenheit. What we want the input as a depth. If we know the depth, then we'll calculate 10 into depth plus 20 as Celsius and 1.8 into Celsius plus 32, that becomes a Fahrenheit. It's very simple problem, right? Clear or not?
Clear, ma'am.
The input we want is depth.
Yes, ma'am.
And the formula is directly will give the formula Celsius as well as the Fahrenheit. And the third column we have to write the output as Celsius Fahrenheit. See this PAC. Depth we want input and processing is Celsius equal to 10 into depth. Same formula I have given, and will display the output in terms of Celsius as well as the Fahrenheit. Next, this problem. This problem, what is given? Suppose the distance of a trip is given in miles and miles per gallon, and that current price of 1 gallon. We need to calculate how much fuel is required for the trip and cost spent on the fuel. Right? Clear,
Yes,
clear or
ma'am.
not? For a trip, distance is given in terms of miles. Miles per gallon of the car is given, and price of the fuel per gallon also given. So how will calculate first the fuel required for the trip? Fuel required for the trip, how will calculate?
Ma'am, they gave number of miles and also gave the number of gallons used in the trip. We should
Yes,
divide, so we can calculate the fuel required by
by
dividing the.
dividing the
Yes, ma'am.
distance of the trip divided by miles per gallon. Is it correct or not?
Correct, ma'am.
Distance of a trip in miles divided by miles per gallon will get that how much fuel is required. And how will find out the cost?
Calculated gallons what we got into per liter per gallon cost.
Okay, that is the answer, right? So see the PAC. PAC is given distance in miles and miles per gallon and cost per gallon. Right? We need the three things: distance in miles as well as miles per gallon as well as cost per gallon. And what are the processing is required? Okay, how much gas or fuel required? Distance by miles per gallon, and cost is equal to cost per gallon into that is fuel required. Output is display gas or display estimated cost. Clear? Any doubt? Hello? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
So next one is another type hippo chart. Hippo chart means like when if the suppose if the problem is very big problem, then we can divide the problem into smaller problem. So hippo chart is nothing but hierarchy input output process. So here in PAC we are writing only one PAC. In the hippo chart, many PAC will write and all PAC will be connected to one problem. Say for example, if problem is very big, right? Small components, many calculations are there. So what I had to do it, so I'll do it everything separately and finally I'll join. That is called as a hippo chart. So normally in the software development, we have to follow a module based development. Module, MODULE. Module means say for example our VTOP. I think you have worked with VTOP. Are you having a VTOP account, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Actually,
ma'am.
VTOP is one of the software. It's serving for many purposes, isn't it? Yes or no? You can see the attendance, you can see the history, course details, registration, grade history. Lot of things are there. Actually, all the things we cannot able to do it as a simple problem, one problem or program. Here they have divided into many modules. Modules means really your menu title is nothing but the modules, academics, personal info, proctor, marks, like that you will have menu, no? Are you having or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So that each menu is nothing but a module. That module is will have many sub modules also. Sometimes inside academics you will have many subdivision. So these are all called as a module based development, because we cannot able to do everything as a one stretch. So we have to divide the problem or program into small module, and the modules has to be divided into sub module, and for each sub module we'll write the function or program, and we'll connect all the sub modules and modules together to be the project, to be a big project. So in the PAC, we can use this hippo chart also. The hippo chart means the problem will be divided into smaller problem, and for smaller problem, we'll write the PAC and we'll connect together. Can you able to follow? If it is needed, we can do it. In the question, if it is asked for use the hippo chart, you can go for that. Otherwise, it's not necessary. Actually, in our educational level and study purpose, we are not going to be solve a big problem. Actually, the big problem will be solved in the industry only, right? And I given this problem, right? Here, what is given? You have to same salary problem. You have to calculate gross pay as well as net pay. How to calculate the gross pay? Gross pay is calculated by number of hours worked into pay rate, and net pay is calculated by subtracting the gross pay minus of the deduction. Is it correct or not? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So here gross pay how we'll calculate? So what are the input we want for this problem? What are the inputs we want?
Number of hours worked,
Hmm.
periods,
Number of hours
And pay
worked,
rate.
next pay rate,
Pay rate.
Pay rate.
next is
Deductions.
reduction. We
Deductions.
have to get the three input, number of hours worked, pay rate as well as the deduction. Processing is gross pay equal to number of hours worked into pay rate, net pay equal to gross pay minus deduction. Directly you can give it in the processing. What are the output we'll get?
Gross pay and then net pay.
Yes. Or we have to print the net pay. Actually here it is given that the output should be printed in the check. So you in the output format you can write that print the net pay in the check. Directly you can write it. Clear?
Okay. So don't print gross pay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. So this is the PAC, number of hours worked, pay rate, deduction, and gross pay will be calculated by number of hours worked into pay rate, net pay equal to gross pay minus of deduction, output is net pay, and write the net pay in the check. Clear?
yes, ma'am.
Next is algorithm. What is meant by algorithm?
Procedure, steps.
Yeah, algorithm is nothing but, okay, now we have pre-processing phase. I told no, in the pre-processing phase consists of two parts. One is called as a PAC chart, another one is either writing algorithm or pseudocode. Second one is writing algorithm or pseudocode. So in phase one, PAC chart we have discussed. Next we are going for how to write the algorithm or pseudocode. I think algorithm you have already discussed, like it's a step-by-step process to solve a problem. Here there is a difference between algorithm and pseudocode. Algorithm means in normal English sentence, if very understandable way, if you are writing the steps, that is called as algorithm. Pseudocode means it's also look like a English statement, but we can use some of the programming construct, like we no need to write very lengthy sentence in the pseudocode. Rather than simply write the small component like read A, and add A equal, add A with B and print C. Like that we can use a very shortcut way. Whereas algorithm means you can write, get the input from the user. Next statement is compute this value with this value. Like that in sentence, if you are writing, that is algorithm. Pseudocode means it also looks like algorithm, but it will be very so pseudocode is readily convertible into the program. In such way, we have to write a pseudocode. Okay, we'll see some of the examples for the algorithm. So already I have told, no, the problem is divided into 4 type. Already I told that. So if you want to solve any problem by using the computer, either it should be in the sequential way or selection way or iterative way, or it will be in counting or searching, like that I have told. So normally the program will be divided into, programming pattern is divided into 4 types: sequential, selection and iterational. Sequential means like step by step. If you are writing this program to solve the problem, then it is sequential. Selection means in the program, some of the decision making, like whether to do this or that, if you are giving, that is called as a sequential. Iterational, third type is iterational. That means certain steps repeatedly if you are executing, that is called as a iterational. Normally in the program, these are all the things we will use: sequential, selection and iterational. Recursive, that I will discuss later, right? So first one is sequential algorithm. What is called as a sequential algorithm? Sequential algorithm means solving any problem step by step, that is called as a sequential algorithm. Say for example, if I want to add two numbers, how to write the algorithm? I need two numbers to solve, to add. So read the two numbers A and B, and next one is I am adding C equal to A plus B and displaying C. Okay. Similarly, once again, please copy this. I'll 2 minutes. I'll come. Please. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Copy da. Okay. We'll discuss this algorithm. Already I have discussed this algorithm. What is algorithm? Please tell me.
Step-by-step process to explain
Solve the problem. Okay, step by step instruction to solve the problem. So here the algorithm is adding two numbers. So that is two numbers. If it is given, it will be added and stored in C. So we are reading the two numbers A and B, and next we are adding the two numbers A and B and displaying the C. Right. Next thing is area of a circle. How will writing the area algorithm for finding the area of the circle? How will find out the area of the circle? Already we have written the PAC. I need the radius, so I have to read the radius. Read the radius of a circle, and I have to find the square root of the radius, or directly you can give that area equal to 3.14 into uh, the radius into radius, and final print area. Actually, this I am calling as the algorithm. Here in sentence I have written, no, read the radius of a circle and find the square of the radius and store it in square, multiply square with 3.1 and store it in the result of area, print area. So in detailed way, can you able to follow what I'm telling? Multiply
Yes, ma'am.
square with the third step,
Yes,
multiply
ma'am.
square with 3.14 and store the result in area. Okay, here I have detailed, I have written, because this value I'm storing in area, or directly I can give area equal to 3.14 into square of radius. Okay, so in detail the English sentence if you are writing, then it's algorithm. We don't have any predefined sentence for writing the algorithm, and you can write the algorithm in any way, but the thing is what the steps what you have written, it should be correct and it should solve a problem. That is the main intention. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, how to find the average of 3 marks? Average of 3 marks. Actually, it is in the pseudocode format. I didn't written any sentence, right? Actually, it's called as a pseudocode. I want 3 marks. That is, I am reading marks 1, marks 2, marks 3. And I want to add the 3 marks. So, sum equal to mark 1 plus mark 2 plus mark 3. And how I am finding the average? Average equal to sum by 3 and display the average. So, it is a pseudocode format. Pseudocode format means in detail, you don't need to give any explanation, right? So, simply we have to read the marks and we have to add the sum and we have to find the average and we have to display. Right? Mm. So these are all the things what we have discussed is called as a sequential type. Okay, these are the things we have discussed as a sequential type. So last step by step we have solved the problem. Next one is a selection type of algorithm. Selection type of algorithm. That means what? Uh, Selection type means in the sequential way I have to there's some decision I have to take line by line. I have to solve the problem, and selection type means I have to take the decision. Okay, whether this is this will whether this part will be I have to execute or that part will be executed. Okay, so that is called as a selection type of algorithm. See here, I have taken the problem. I've taken the problem here. I want to find the average marks of a student and also check whether the student has a pass or fail. I'm finding the average mark. Based on the average marks, I want to check whether the student is pass or fail. Okay, and I have to declare that a student pass or fail. So here, not only I'm calculating the average mark, and also I want to take some decision. What is the decision I'm taking? Whether the student is pass or fail. It is called as a decision type of problem. Can you understand this?
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
decision
ma'am.
type of problem means not some steps will be sequential. After the sequential steps, I should take some of the important decision whether to do this or not. Okay. So the here what I have given. So how to solve this problem? I am taking 3 marks and I'm adding the total and I'm finding the average. Okay. So, and after finding the average, I'm checking whether the average is less than 65. If it is less than 65, I'm telling that the student failed. Otherwise, I'm telling that the student passed. Are you clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So that I here some decision I'm taking here. Um, if the average is less than 65, then the student get the result as student fail. Suppose this condition, the selection statement is failed, then the student what we have said is passed. It will be printed. Finally, the output is printed based on the decision. So I have said output equal to student passed. If this condition not satisfied, the student display output is passed only. Suppose this condition average less than 65 true, then the student output is changed into student fail and he will get that output as student fail. So here I am taking some decision that is called as a selection type of algorithm and checking whether the year is a leap year or not. So you know that like how to check the leap year. So for that, what I have to do? I am not simply telling that if the year is leap year or not. So to tell that leap year or not, I have to do so. I have to check certain condition. So first, I am reading the year. Next, in the if condition, I'm checking the year model of 4 equal to 0 and year model of 100 not equal to 0 or year model of 400 equal to 0. If these conditions are satisfied, then I'm telling that the corresponding year is leap year. Otherwise, I'm telling that the year is not a leap year. Clear? Please
Okay.
copy this.
Yes.
Tell me. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Copy this, ma. Okay, copied, Amma.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is about the selection type of algorithm. Next one is iterative. Iterative means what? Certain steps, if I want to repeat, then I will call it is a repetitive procedure, right? Uh, say for example, I have previously I told that I'm finding the average marks. I'm finding the average marks for three. I'm finding average for 3 marks, and I'm taking the selection whether the student is pass or not. Instead of taking the 3 marks, I want to take that n marks, or in another way we'll consider that. So for 3 marks, n number of students. Actually, this algorithm I have calculated for one student. Okay. For a student, we are declaring whether pass or fail based on the average mark calculated. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Now, the same thing you have to do it for n number of students. I have to find the average marks for n number of students. That means for each student I have to take the 3 marks, and I have to add it, and I have to calculate the total, and I have to display the result for one student. Again, I have to repeat for the second student, third student. So same step I have to repeat for n number of students. If certain steps is going to be repeat for many times, then we have to choose the iterative process, that is called, we used to call as a looping process. Okay, see this algorithm. First I have to repeat this procedure for many times, means first I have to know that how many number of students I am going to be calculate the result. In my class, maybe 20 students or 30 students or 40 students. So first I have to read how many number of students I want to calculate. And here in the computer term, as per the computer terminology, it's very challenging. Say, for example, if anybody is asking me to count, I can count because of my own memory. Is it correct or not? To 10 students, I want to calculate the average, means I can remember that, okay, I completed for one student or two students or three students or whatever. But a computer, so here my intention is certain steps I am asking the computer to repeat many number of times. Is it correct or not? Clear? Guys, everybody listening the class or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Listening, ma'am.
Listening, ma'am. Listening.
Listening. How many students? 6 students. All 6 are active?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tanishka? Tanishka? She's not in the class. Okay. Right? So here, I can remember that how many number of students I have calculated the average, but the same thing for the computer terminology. How the computer will understand that? So we have how to make the computer to remember that how many number of students mark I have taken, and I calculate the average. For that, I have to declare one variable called counter. So counter is one of the variable. It counts that how many number of students we have calculated the average. Are you clear? Clear or not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So then the process is here, see here, read mark 1, mark 2, mark 3 and find the total of mark 1, mark 2, mark 3 and average of the 3 marks, and this setting output as per student pass and average less than 5, then set output is failed, display output. These statements already we have discussed in the selection. Is it correct or not? If you compare this algorithm,
Yes, ma'am.
the previous algorithm, these steps already I have given, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So these steps I have to
Yeah.
repeat for more number of students. These steps I have to repeat for more number of students. So additionally, I'm going to be add 2-3 statements. That's all. Correct or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So if I want to repeat these statements many times, for how many number of times I'm going to be repeat, that is I have to read number of students. How many number of students I want to calculate the result. So that I'm taking. And to how many times we have executed these steps, for that we have first initialize counter value equal to 1. And every time after taking one student mark and calculate the average, I have to increment my counter, and I have to check that whether my counter value reached to the number of students or not. If my counter value is not reached to the number of students, then I have to go to step 3, again I have to repeat. This is called as the iterative process. Clear? If I want to repeat the loop, if I want to use the loop, or if I want to repeat for many number of times, first thing is what? I have to take how many number of times my loop is going to be executed. That I have to read the n value, number of students. Next one, I have to, for how many number of times the loop is going to be executed, to count that I have to initialize the counter value, counter equal to 1. Once the first student result is calculated, I have to go for the second student. For that I have to increment my counter value equal to counter plus 1. And every time after incrementing, I have to check that whether my counter reaches to the n value. If it is not reaches, then I will repeat for the second student. After completing the second student result, again my counter is incremented to 3. Again I will check that my 3 is reaches to the number of students. No means again I will go to the step 3 and I will execute all the things. Again I will increment the counter. Can you able to understand now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So initial value I am taking as a 1. Later I won't touch this counter equal to 1. Say read n means I want the n value. Say for example n is 60. Number of students is 60. So 60 times these statements. So what I have given here, these statements, statement 3 to 8, step 3 to 8 has to be repeat for 60 times. How will check that whether it reaches to 60 times or not? So for that, what I'm doing, I'm considering counter equal to 1. I'm initializing counter equal to 1. I'm first student, I'm doing all the steps from step 3 to 8. And in the step 9, what I'm doing, first student is over means, then I increment the counter value. First counter value is 1. 1 plus 1, what I'll get? Equal to 2. That means 2 denotes that I'm going to be calculate the result for the second student. Now I'm checking that whether the counter value 2 is less than or equal to 60, because my number of students is 60. If this condition is satisfied, then means I didn't reach the number of students. Then I'll go to step 3. Okay. Again, I'll continue all the steps. And again, my counter value is increment from 2 to 3. Because previous counter is 2, no? Previous counter is 2. 2 plus 1, I'll get 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Then I'll check my whether the 3 is less than or equal to my counter value. Then I'll go to step 3. So this process I'll continue till my counter reaches to 60. Say for example 60 students I have calculated. My condition, this condition won't be satisfied. So this if condition won't be satisfied, then it won't go to step 3. Rather than it will go to the next step and it will stop the algorithm. Are you clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
What is meant by iteration? Iteration means there are some steps if I am going to be repeat. So for the computer terminology, if I am going to be repeat, you have to compulsory these 3 steps you have to use if you are going to be use the looping iterative process. You have to initialize the counter value, and you have to increment the counter value, and you have to check the counter value. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we have discussed all the things in terms of algorithm and PAC. Next stage is how we'll convert these all the things into the program. To convert these all the things into the program, we are using the Python program. Python is very simple programming. I'll next extra class I'll discuss start the Python. Meanwhile, I'll give some of the problem to work out, right?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Tell me.
Where can I get the PPTs of the last sessions, ma'am?
It's there in Moodle. Are you having a Moodle account?
Yes, ma'am. Yesterday they gave me Moodle account.
Open the Moodle, you will get it.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Write this problem.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Tell me.
Ma'am, what is meant by boundary conditions, ma'am?
Boundary condition means, say there are some of the input won't accept, it won't be accept for the problem. That is called as a boundary condition. Here the boundary condition is what? N value should be greater than 0 and n value should be less than 40. What is meant by that? Here what is the input we are giving?
In number of days.
Number of days. Okay. So that n value should not be, that number of days you should not give less than 0 and you should not give greater than 40. Less than 0 means like you should not give any negative value, or you should not use more value than 40.
Okay.
If it is specified in the problem, you can include, otherwise you can omit.
Okay.
Usually in the V proper, along with the boundary condition, our problem will be.
Okay.
Because you may ask that, like, if negative value given, what, how it will be, because this real time will face, these are all the problem when we are developing the software. That's why we are practicing you abnormal input. I think we used to call an abnormal input, no? That are all abnormal input.
Okay, ma'am.
Copied?
Yes, ma'am.
Take this problem, not this problem. Take this 4 prime.
Ma'am, in cat and fat also like this questions only asked, ma'am.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Copy?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Take this.
Copied.
Copied.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I given
Yes.
3 problems, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Please solve it. If any doubt is there in the class time, you at the end of the class you
Ma'am,
can ask.
PSC code, pseudocode only, no, ma'am, or else program.
PSC chart, algorithm or pseudocode you have to write for these 3 questions.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
1 second. Please, I'll check whether everyone is active in the class.
Yes,
Gautam,
Yes, ma'am.
Harshit,
Yes, ma'am.
Prem Kumar,
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Jashwant,
Yes, ma'am.
Samba Sivasai,
Yes, ma'am.
Tanishka.
Yes, ma'am.
Where you went? Previously I called you.
Mic was not working.
Okay, ma. So next we'll stop recording. and you do this, and